Okay, let's see. Whoop. What'd that do to us? Whoop.
Oh, I know what it did.
What
okay,
did it do?
hang on.
Okay.
Hang on.
Watch now. No, everybody can hear us and nobody can see
us. Okay, there we are.
That's why we get here early, so we can fix these things.
Okay.
That's why we get here early.
Now you should hear us,
yes.
And in a moment see us.
Right.
Well,
the delay. They're gonna see dark, and then they're gonna see us fixing it, and then they're gonna see us again.
Yep. Okay. There we go.
There we go.
Little technical blip, but we should be good now.
That is why we get here early.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But yeah, we're having all kinds of issues today. First in Audacity, now in this.
Yeah.
Fun times.
Just waking up was a adversity this morning.
Look, we're here. That's all I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pretend we're actually getting started, like not getting started, but like starting this like we usually do, where I go, hello.
Hello.
Kayla Lords.
John Brownstone.
Of Loving BDSM, where we help kinksters like you have happy, healthy power exchange relationships. This is our weekly live stream where we record our podcast, the audio version of which goes out on all major podcast apps every Friday. We are currently here 5 minutes early, but I'll just warn folks, we might take our time and not start at exactly noon because we just had a little snafu and like we need to ease into it. We just need to ease into it is what I'm saying. However, if you are here early, now for the live stream and you don't like idle chit chat, give yourself a few minutes. Come on back. It'll be fine. If you're here after the stream, but before I put timestamps in, and you don't like idle chit chat, fast forward a few minutes. I don't know how much yet. A minimum of 5 minutes, but maybe longer. Because, I just feel like everything about, at least me personally, is just moving slower today. So I'm going to not fight it, and I'm just going to warn folks. Just moving slower today. So I'm going to say hi to folks because there are plenty of you here.
Yep. Silent. Yeah, we're still working the kinks out.
Aren't we always?
Yeah, right. Usually it's a lot funner than this, but go ahead.
Thank you. Hi, Kim. Hi, Silent Wing. Hi, Love Not Hate. Hi, JB. Hi, C. Stevens. Hi, Rara. Hi, Kitty. Hi, Dorina. Hi, Lady Blooding. Hi, Mally. Hi, Little Miss. Hi, Sassy Girl. Hi, Andre. I'm scrolling. Hi, Amanda. Hi, Dark Blue Heaven. Scrolling. Hi, Bad Cat. Scrolling. Hi, Sir Grumpy. Scrolling. I don't think I'm missing anybody. I hope not. Hi, Kitty. If I had already said hi to you, that's how squirrel-like my memory is. You're the double hi for today. But if I have not, hello. Hi, D-Bunny. Hi, Shelby. Scrolling. Hi, Stephanie. Scrolling. Okay, I think I got it.
Okay. So, we're working the kinks out. We actually subscribed to the program. If you notice, there's no watermark anymore.
XSplit is the one we're using, yeah.
Yep. Went ahead with the XSplit. So, there's a little bit of a curve to it. Certain settings I found, no matter what I do not stick, and I have to go in and
that's annoying.
Well, Yep. But overall, I think it's worth it. I mean, looking on here to seeing the picture coming through, I think the picture quality is much better.
Oh, yeah, I think so, too. And Love Not Hate, I thought I got you, but maybe not, so hello. And if I did get you, then you're also a double hi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like I'm moving through mud today.
Yeah.
My eyes are that grainy kind of from when you just want to shut them. you really just want to close them and no, can't do that. My reaction time to stuff, those little scary, had to drive up the road, take a kid to an appointment, come back. My reaction times are real slow today. I am real slow on the uptake. So
anyway, I'm going to say it because I think it's time. And hello and welcome, everyone.
You're very proud of yourself, aren't you?
Damn straight.
I know. Whatever works. Lola, for anybody who's interested and saw any of our testing while we were off, she is here. She is just not in view of where a Lola cam can reach her. She's by me sleeping Vaguely. I saw
Yeah.
that ear twitch.
Mhm.
I figured she would be very curious about me or ignore me because the appointment that I took the kid to, there were 2 service dogs, and they're like therapy service dogs, not like service dogs for like a specific patient or a specific person. So they kind of just come up to people, and they came up to me, and they're beautiful animals and very friendly.
Yeah.
But then they were all over the kid, and I was like,
Ah.
do they know something? I'm sure they do. But we definitely left there smelling of 2 very beautiful, very gigantic dogs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
yeah.
wasn't sure if she would, reject me or be like, oh, I must now sniff you from head to toe.
Yeah.
Well, the compromise is she's at my feet, which is not typical. So.
Yeah, it's still morning, Junie.
Hi, Junie.
11:59.
Hi, Jade. Love Not Hate. Lola is a
American Staffordshire Terrier.
Yes, that. But she falls within the pit bull, like, almost a genre, and I know it's the category. Umbrella. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what else?
Well, we both have a reason
We have all kinds of reasons.
for being the way we are today, and we'll talk about that a little more in the
Sure. Yeah, to the extent that you want to.
yeah.
Because it's your stuff. I'm just along for the ride, trying to corral people who don't work off of to-do lists and schedules.
Herding cats.
Oh, it was but it was a mostly pleasant herding
It
cats.
was.
I got a sunburn on my lips. Which
Yeah,
is
same.
weird. I thought I had chapped him, and then went, "Oh no, that's a sunburn." Is that what happens when you go outside? So, I guess we should get started because we
Yeah.
don't really have anything to say, and it is
No, we
noon,
don't.
and I
Yeah.
always do feel better when we start on time.
Well, you go ahead and get started because I want to put this fan on.
okay, that's a good.
Yeah, I want to put this fan back on.
That's a good reason to do all that. So yeah, we're doing a BDSM Reddit response episode as a gift to ourselves after our 2-week break, and hopefully y'all enjoy it too. If you enjoy this while we're doing it, we love a thumbs up. If you like it enough to want to come back for more, please consider subscribing.
And then go ahead and ring that bell so you get updates of new content.
And now Ring My Bell is in my head, but my brain switches out the my for that, and I'm not going to sing it. I don't have a good voice on a good day, but certainly not that high.
My job here is done.
That high of a whatever falsetto or whatever. Yeah. I think that's it. I think you can bring the podcast audience in and turn on the fan, and then I can go into announcements. Because
Okay.
yes, we do at least have one announcement. Okay, you're going to turn on the fan.
Yes, I am.
I can already feel the humidity around my hairline, and we're just sitting here. We got fans going. Okay, before we get into this week's episode, I have an announcement.
Ooh.
Because we were just given the opportunity to do so, we just then made that opportunity available for anybody who is eligible to take advantage of it. We now offer on some of our Patreon tiers a 7-day free trial. So if you're like, I don't want to give my money and then find out I don't like it there, for some of our tiers, you don't have to. You can come be a member of our Patreon for 7 days at no charge, and then decide if you want to hang out there, if you want to do a different tier, whatever. It's available on everything but the $2 per month tier. That's our lowest tier. We did it for everything else. So you join, you pick a tier, you got free for 7 days, and then after the 7th day, then your card is charged or your payment way is charged. If you join our Patreon, sorry, what are words? They're coming very slow to me today.
You keep
You
going.
get access to our Discord server where our kinky community hangs out, and it's like I think it's good vibes there. It's not a dating scene. It is we're just people in both our kinky and non-kinky glory. You get access to our monthly live Q&A. We do that at the first Saturday of every month. You get access to an exclusive video every month. It's not educational, it's fun. We try to keep the educational stuff open and available to everybody. You get access to a behind the scenes podcast, which is a lot like a bonus section, except we're talking about what we're doing both professionally and personally for a specific time frame, which is where you get to like know what's coming to like the shop or to the entity that is Living BDSM early. But when you then join at higher tiers, you get access to extra perks. For example, this week that we're in, podcast listeners, this will be too late for y'all. Members who are at the business level and up, business cricket, they're people who are kinky business owners or kinky makers, and up can come to our quarterly business chat that we hold in Discord. Later this month, folks in the $10 and up tiers can join us for a bi-monthly game night. If you decide to do a $5 tier, you can ask your questions for our monthly Q&A early, so you know they'll definitely get answered even if you can't attend the live stream. We try to offer as much value to our community as we receive in return. Our Patreon is absolutely one of the ways that we are able to keep showing up here doing our weird thing on the internet. It was the first way we were able to like actually, I think it was our Patreon that helped us pay for the sound equipment that we have now.
Yes.
And so from there we've sort of grown into all the other things, but yeah, Patreon is our first, our best, our nearest, our dearest. And if you would like to join and you're not ready to commit a few dollars, you're not sure if it's worth it to you, you can try it out for 7 days free. Just go to patreon.com/KaylaLords. It's patreon.com/KaylaLords, or the link is in the places. For YouTube, that's the description box. For podcast listeners, that's the show notes. Yeah, I think that is all I have to say about that. I am absolutely thinking slower today. It is one of those days.
Yeah.
Hopefully maybe some righteous anger / annoyance will burn a path through my brain in this episode, and I'll be a little bit more vibrant. We'll find out. Woo-hoo. So with this BDSM Reddit response, big thanks as always to Silent Winged, who sent several to me for consideration. It killed me when I was finally ready to go like pull which ones. Some of the ones that she sent got deleted and I no longer remembered the details, and I was like, shit, okay, never mind. But I did get a couple, and so I think those will be good. I actually found one in a non-BDSM subreddit that the post did get deleted, but I was so pissed. The story is burned into my memory and I can relay it. And then thanks to Rara for creating a subreddit called BDSM Am I the Asshole? BDSM_AITA. I was able to pull one or two from there that we will comment on.
We'll talk about.
So
okay,
we've got a nice little
cross-section
variety
of
pack.
stuff. Yeah.
So, okay, let's start here. It's titled Wholesome Maintenance Spankings.
Oh.
I've got to get closer to the screen because these eyes don't eye very well anymore, even with the glasses. It says, I recently keep reading that maintenance spankings are followed by tears, corner time, and sex. Ooh, I would like to know where this person is reading these things.
Right.
Is this a rule to count it as maintenance, or is it just something that works for most people, or is it embedded in the community or culture? Corner time is a trauma trigger for me, but I always liked the concept of regular spankings to release trapped emotions. I know a lot of people have affectionate spanking sessions, but would it be called a maintenance one then? Is it like in old school terms it would be very strictly specified as I described, and in the new way of kink people adjusted it to suit their needs? I'm looking for insight and knowledge more than advice. I know I can customize things with respect for my needs and mental health. So I'm glad this person understands that they can, a maintenance spanking can be whatever you want it to be.
Right.
But I am very curious as to where they're spending their time if they are reading frequently that a maintenance spanking is followed by tears, corner time, and sex.
Yeah.
Because while tears sometimes have been a part of a maintenance spanking, the
Right.
rest of it has never been a part of our maintenance spankings.
No. At least for us, a maintenance spanking, to me, is, you've gone a while without a spanking. You need a spanking to keep you in line. You haven't done anything wrong, but I know you're thinking of something.
That's one way, but we've also done the way where I've gone, I am we used to use coded language. We
Yes.
don't anymore. But I am tense. I am just cranky.
My skin is tight.
That was the
Is what
code
you
we
said,
used
yeah.
to use when I couldn't just say, "Hey, can you please spank my ass?" I am
Right.
now at a point. I go, I could just use one. When would you like to arrange this?
Yeah.
And quite frankly, when we do our spicy page impact placings, a lot of those we don't call them maintenance, but they feel like maintenance because they're semi-regular. But sometimes I just need to have the experience of what I get when we do impact,
Right.
for no other reason than I'm missing it, I like it, I'm feeling tense because it does help me. Like, there's all kinds of reasons.
Correct. To me, maintenance spankings are a little different. You know, I joke a little bit about, you know, how I said she, you know, was thinking about doing something wrong, but, you know, no, that's not entirely correct. You know, a maintenance spanking for her, there are times her mind gets jumbled.
Like right now.
Yeah. All right,
Like
over
right
the knee.
now.
And you know, a spanking has always helped that for her, and that is something we have considered a maintenance spanking. Has it ever been followed by corner time or anything like that? No.
See, corner time is punishment
Right.
in our...
Yeah.
Now, I could see somebody negotiating where it's corner time, but not in terms of punishment, more in terms of almost like I'm going to put you over here to just sort of be with your own thoughts for a
Quiet
minute.
time to unwind.
Right.
Yeah.
And if that works for a person, I would absolutely say go for it. The automatic followed by sex, not at all, because as this tends to get forgotten in certain parts, larger, wider parts of the kink community, sex is not automatically a part of any kinky activity. It certainly can be, but
Sure.
it doesn't have to be. Quite frankly, when we've done therapy spankings, really therapeutic is the word I should use, and what I consider sort of a maintenance spanking, I don't think it's ever been followed up by sex.
No.
Like if a spanking might be followed up with sex, it usually starts out super playful, super like we're focused on a scene of some sort.
Yeah. Exactly. You know, aftercare after a therapeutic or maintenance spanking, absolutely. You know, that is a given. You know, but anything else, no. You know, for us, sex, that's more when we're doing a scene for the hell of doing a scene.
And it got sexy for us.
Yeah.
It got erotic.
You know,
Yeah.
I know when I'm giving you a maintenance spanking, to me, that is a whole different mindset, and I do not even find anything about that arousing in any way.
Gotcha. Okay, I did not know that. I sometimes get aroused just because certain sensations my body responds. I'll say that. And your body can respond, and
Yeah.
because that's an automatic response you don't really control, and you're still not aroused. There is a term for that, and of course with this foggy brain I couldn't tell you what it is, but there is a term for that. So when I say I get aroused, I feel my body respond because those sensations feel that good to me. But yeah, most of the time if it's not part of a broader scene where there's power exchange and power play like on display, and there's a sadist masochist thing and playing, and it's just you need this, I need this, let's just have this moment. I'm not eroticizing it in my mind. I'm not sitting there going, okay, now we can move to a next step.
Yeah.
That is not to say other people don't. The thing I go back to is I would love to know what kinky corner of the world this person is hanging out in, where the most common examples is this 3-step process, because I have no doubt people I have been around in some way might have that experience, but that's not the common experience.
Yeah.
In my view of a maintenance
Right.
spanking,
I mean,
especially since I don't think there is a common experience with any
and
of it.
here's the difference too for me. When I'm giving you a maintenance spanking, it is strictly a spanking, whether it's bare hand, whether it's a paddle, no matter what it is. You know, there are times during a scene when we are playing that you know, I will tease you. I will, you know, tweak a nipple, or I'll, you know,
Sure.
tease your...
Tease my whatever you can reach.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you know, that element comes into it too, but during a maintenance spanking, that is something totally different, and that does not happen.
Right. So yeah, I think for this person, I hope they got enough decent advice from the comments that they realize that, wait, there is no one true way, one set way.
Right.
They already were understanding it, but based on the end of their post, but sort of to hear enough different perspectives that whatever you're hearing most often in the space you're inhabiting is not the only way. Yeah, and in that case, I would not have ever even deemed that a quote common way. Like, what?
Yeah.
So yeah. Anything else? Okay. Okay. Here's one. This is from Silent Wing, and she absolutely sent it to probably make smoke come out of my ears. But also because some things have to be repeated, apparently, because people seem to still not get it. So here we go. Next one. Getting used to throat fucking. I'm not liking it so far. My boyfriend / dom really wants me to let him fuck my throat, and I hate it, honestly. It's not like blowjobs in the past that I gave him where he laid back and let me do what I was comfortable with. This is where he has me lie down or has me on my knees, and he is the one controlling the movements. I've let him do it before, and each time I hated it because it was scary and hard to breathe, and I felt degraded by it. I've vomited a couple times, and my throat burns after. Sometimes I can't talk for a bit. I'm trying to learn to like it because my boyfriend insists on doing it to me and says that I have to get used to the sensations. He doesn't want to listen to my feelings on it and says it's normal for a sub to feel that way. I don't know if it really is normal or if this is a legit red flag. You answered your own question.
Yeah.
It's if this gigantic red flag is being waved, I can just imagine all of the other red flags that probably don't even seem quite as big in comparison.
And just in case they happen to be colorblind, that is a red flag.
It's red flag. It's
red flag, big one.
Massive.
Turn around, walk the other way.
Yeah. Don't walk, run. Oh, because see, here's the thing. Do you, if you're not used to throat fucking and want to try it, do you have to get used to the sensations? Well, you don't have to do shit. But is there a learning curve? Is there an adjustment because it is a different sensation than other ways of experiencing blowjobs? Yes. That is accurate. But one, you could try it and go, I'll try it once, and then realize you fucking hate it and go, I'm not doing that again. Still a sub. You could try it, want to like it, but need a lot of practice or adjustment or to go slow and, build up to going, okay, I'm willing to do this, or I actually love it. And then there are those people who actually legit love it, even though they too had to start from somewhere. None of us come into this world being able to do that without it, causing sensations maybe we're not used to. But the fact that she fucking hates it,
and he insists.
The motherfucker insists and says it's that's a sub. That's a thing a sub has to do. Are you fucking kidding me?
Nope.
Throw the whole fucker out. Just toss him out a goddamn window.
Kick him to the curb.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I mean, it's the same thing if you're talking about anal.
It's anything, yes. There's no fucking thing a sub always should do.
If someone really wants to try it, yes, there is a learning curve, way to do it, and to get used to it. Same thing with this. Not every sub does anal.
Right.
And, and that's okay.
And sometimes you do it, try it, and then go, whoop,
not my thing. Not for me.
Not my thing. But this motherfucker.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to listen to my feelings. Here's the thing. If he's not listening to your feelings on this, I guarantee he either is not or will not listen to your feelings on
other
else.
Things. Yep.
Because nobody just is like this one issue where they go, I completely disregard your feelings on this, but I'm a sensitive, strong, active listener every other moment. Well, that's no. And here's the thing. When you hate something or you decide, that's not for me, you don't even have to be able to articulate why. You get to just say, I don't want to, or I don't like it, or however you want to express that. That is always valid. But in this fucking case, this person is listing it out like, I don't like this, and I don't like this. And there's, like, if somebody came to me and was like, I don't like these parts of it, but I really would like to find a way to make this work, then, okay, let's talk tips. Let's talk about things you can try. But this person's like, I just don't fucking like it, and I just don't want to do it. Well, guess what? You don't fucking have to. Kick the whole motherfucker to the curb. That's it. That's
what she just said.
That's the advice.
Yep.
Oh. Okay. This one got deleted. This is one I found in the sex subreddit. I found it. I replied to it because I had immediate thoughts and opinions, and I was much more measured than I would be here. It's a little sad you don't get my initial gut reaction, but I bet JB will have an initial reaction. So the post got deleted, so I'm going by memory, and so I won't have quite as many details, but I have the crux of this story. Okay,
you got the meat and potatoes, right?
Here we go. The post's title originally was "Feeling Like Shit After My Girlfriend Told Her Friends About My Kink." So it's a guy and girl. The guy says in the post that he has a mommy kink that kind of makes him a little, he feels a little weird about it. He even said that he's working on some issues from his childhood that deal with his mother in therapy. Let me enter a caveat that your kinks don't have to come from trauma. You don't have to be traumatized to be kinky. Some people go, yeah, I see the connection and don't care. And some people see the connection and do care, and it's all valid. In his case, he's got a mommy kink that he's not 100% sure about. It's something he wants to explore sexually, but he's still unsure about it. He's got all the other stuff going on outside of this. Okay, so that's your backstory. He says in his post originally that it was very difficult for him to tell his girlfriend about it, but he wanted to be able to share that with her. It felt really important. He confided it in her, and she agreed to try it out with him. Now, he did not detail what that meant. Mommy kink. Okay, so they do try it out. The way I read the post, it was pretty good. He was like, okay, this is nice.
No.
Then they're hanging out with her friends, okay, her girlfriends, and they're sitting around, and comments are getting made that clearly point back to them knowing about his mommy kink.
Oh.
And he gets upset with the friends because he's like, what? Why are you saying these things? And obviously he gets upset with the girlfriend because he figured out how they would know.
Yeah.
She had told her friends about his mommy kink, of which he was very nervous to ever share about with her at all. And when he confronts her, she tells him he needs to get over it. It's no big deal. It was just a joke. So then, if I recall, in the end of the post, I think he asked like the two-parter of how do I trust her again, or how do I get over this, or what should I do? And in that moment, I was like, throw the whole bitch out. Like, just toss her to the curb. Because even in some of the comments, I think, I remember seeing some initially, he was trying to talk to her and she kept brushing him off. And so he confides something difficult for him, which anybody who's ever had to do that and was terrified of what their response was going to be from a partner, you know that feeling. He gets to indulge in it with her, but then she tells all his business to her friends, who then have the utter fucking gall to joke about him and tease him about it to his fucking face. Like, it's bad enough they knew, but then what?
No. You know what? I wish I knew who this person was, because if I did, I would know never to trust to tell them anything.
Oh God, no. Yeah.
Okay. You know, back in my younger days, it was, do they kiss and tell? Kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There is no reason to go and tell people something like that.
Yeah. Especially, I mean, clearly she thinks it's a joke. She was like, I can almost imagine, and I know that I am like putting myself in here, and I am like, words are hard, but basically I could be completely wrong about this, but in my mind, I'm seeing, you will never believe what boyfriend is into. Oh my God, he had me do this. He asked me to do that. And so then it's a source of gossip outside of your relationship. And like, I think there's room for having that one, if you have it, and if they really can be trusted, having a trusted person in your life where you go, I'm being asked to do these things. I'm being asked to be involved in these things. And I need this one person I can confide in. We all get to have that. But one, you have to know that they can actually be trusted not to run their fucking mouth.
Sure.
But two, I mean, sometimes really that should be left with your therapist, because that's probably the most trusted person. But to have gone about and talked to all the friends and for it to be an open joke among the girlfriend
no.
and her friends.
I mean, something like that, you know, that's something that maybe you talk about within the kink community if you're at a munch with, you know, like-minded people, or you're at, you know, some kind of workshop, you know. But yeah, to just out somebody like that,
and then they come back with but it was just a joke. Clearly it fucking wasn't a joke. Yeah, to y'all, because you don't give a fuck.
Right.
Like, you're laughing at this person, or, you know, maybe she's uncomfortable with it and that's how she's dealing with it, but that's not his fucking problem. Like, be a fucking grown-up and go, yeah, this is a little more than I want to do, you know, no thank you, whatever.
And you know what? Somebody, Junie just brought up in the thing, and how does that just casually come up in conversation?
Right?
You
That's
know?
a good question.
I mean, you know, she would have had to, oh, you know what my new boyfriend likes?
Right. That's one of those, oh my gosh, I have something to tell you.
Yeah. Yeah.
With no regard to the boyfriend. And you know what? I'll even give benefit of the doubt of, oh, don't say anything. But you know what? Unless this is like a new to you friend and you've never confided something in this person, you know how your friends are. You know who's running their fucking mouth and who's not.
Right.
And quite frankly, if they felt so casual about it to tease him in front of her and in front of everybody, that means it's a thing that comes up in their group conversations at some point. That's way too fucking casual.
Yeah.
That's way too, oh, I can say whatever the fuck I want because clearly this has been normalized in our group. And how long did it go on before he found out?
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, not
Oh
cool.
my
Not
God.
cool at all. I really feel sorry for that person.
I do too.
To have to go through something like that.
Yeah, and I mean,
You know.
that was part of what I was thinking too. Is it was already so hard for him to even confess this.
Right.
Has this just shoved him back in, to borrow a phrase, into the closet?
Yeah.
For however long,
Yeah.
because once you feel that shame around it, and then almost have that shame reinforced by a partner you thought you could trust, it's very hard. As in our experience, you and
I'd be
that.
curious. You know, if she had any experience in the lifestyle and in the
I
dynamic.
didn't think so. The read I got on it, I just didn't think so. I think it was a thing she said she was willing to try because it was important to him.
Yeah.
When I was responding, I was like, first, if she's not willing to even admit she's done anything wrong, how are you going to ever rebuild trust? What is
Yeah.
even the point here?
Right.
Then I pointed out, I was like, look, you are not alone in this kink. I mean, like the nosy part of me wishes that he had felt comfortable sharing more details because, one, I want to know, and even though it's none of my business, and two, it's like, oh, maybe I could have pointed him in a direction, right? But I was like, look, certainly not the whole kink community, certainly not everybody in the kink community, but there is a part of the kink community where this is their kink. There are people who are like, yes, I'm happy to be on the receiving end of that.
Yeah.
I said, if you ever feel comfortable trying to navigate this again, look for people who want to be part of that kind of thing too, and accept it, because there you will find acceptance. Obviously not with everybody all of the time, but you know, like, no, toss this one to the curb. And also, like, part of me wanted to go, I was typing too fast and my face was hot, so I don't even remember what I wrote, and I know I didn't write everything I was thinking, but it was like, if this is like something that is fulfilling to you and was pleasurable until this fucking moment, like, those people, potential partners exist out there.
Yeah.
You are not alone in this.
Right.
This is not a shameful kink. Like,
No.
yeah.
Nope.
But yeah, that one, I mean, I felt smoke coming out of my ears.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, obviously not all the comments, but a lot of the comments that I saw when I saw that post at the time were fairly like, she sucks, dump her, she's emotionally immature, you deserve a partner who will not shame you for your kinks, your wants, your desires, blah, blah, blah. So that was nice to see. I am sure that was not all of the comments, but that's most of what I saw. So, yeah, that one made me mad. Okay. Okay, here we go. We've got the next two we're going to do. The last two are from the new BDSM Am I the Asshole subreddit. I believe I have linked to that subreddit in the places. So if you want to check that out, a couple of them, people, maybe they are kinky, but their story wasn't kinky. This one was on the line, but I think I knew what they meant because they referred to stuffed animals as stuffies. And, in the kink community, we kind of, there's a connection there. So here we go. Am I the asshole? Some context. We've been together 7 months and we've been living in my small apartment, but luckily we're getting into a house that's a lot bigger. I have a few things in storage, including some stuffed animals. I love stuffed animals and it's one of the things I get myself. I have a few for my ex-boyfriends and I just don't feel the need to part from them. It was years ago and I don't think it's fair for him to ask me to get rid of them. It's not that I'm still in love with them or have feelings, as I have communicated it was years ago, and it's all about the fact I have named them, the stuffies, and have an emotional attachment to the stuffy, not the person. So the question is, am I the asshole, basically, for not wanting to get rid of their stuffies, even though they're from former partners?
No.
I don't think so either.
No, I don't think so either. Sounds like
we don't know yet.
We don't know. Okay. Their partner has some insecurities.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when you feel threatened by a stuffed animal that's been in this person's life without the partner for apparently years. Yeah, that says a lot more about you than it does about the stuffy.
That's like, when you and I got together, it's like, I'm not going to make you get rid of anything that you have some kind of attachment to. That'd be absurd.
Right. Like, how is that? Like, in this case now, we don't know what that dynamic might be, but how is you forcing me to get rid of something that I'm telling you that I like, and I'm not, this isn't about the person, it's about the item. How is that, and especially in our dynamic, we'll use us as the example, that's not very caregiver of you,
No, it's not. No, it's not.
No, I wouldn't say that's very, very daddy-like. And quite frankly, my first thought was that's insecurity on the part of the partner. And if they are in a kink dynamic of some sort, that makes me nervous when an insecure person is potentially the one in charge of something. A lot of bad shit happens when an insecure person can't handle their own insecurities and is not working through them.
And I mean, is something like a stuffy? Oh my, no, that says a lot more about the other person than anything.
We're going through these quick. I feel like I got nothing more to say to that. That person's got their own issue that they need to work through.
So the person posting that, definitely not.
No. And let me go back here, let me make sure reading this correctly. So I was about to say, were these stuffed animals that have been in the house or in the apartment? They've been in storage. So I was about to get even angrier if it was like, but they've been sitting on the bed or the wherever for these past 7 months. You're mad now, but okay, they're coming out of storage. I don't know. No. Don't make your insecurities your partner's problem.
Right.
Like, it's fine it's not fine, but it's valid to feel insecure, to feel like unsure about those things. You don't always kind of know your place yet. You're not always confident enough in yourself as a person, as a partner. Like, I get that. That's stuff to work through, but that's your shit to work through. And maybe your partner is the right person to kind of help you work through it. But you demanding that they get rid of things that have a meaning to them, that are theirs, it's their property, to make you feel a little bit better. No. I foresee issues that coming up.
Yes.
Oh, very quickly, because this won't be the first thing.
I mean, rather than worry about some stuffies that they got a long time ago, focus on the relationship you're building.
Right, exactly. Those little stuffed animals that have been in storage cannot threaten your relationship. Right. But you know what can threaten your relationship? Making the stuffies a fucking enemy because some faceless person that you don't even know and isn't even a factor, is the one who purchased them. Like, come on, give me a break.
Yeah.
Okay. That was me gagging over that. Sorry. Okay. This one is actually kind of a good one, and I don't know that I know how I feel completely. Okay. Am I the asshole for yelling at another person in the dungeon after they bumped into my dom during our scene?
Okay.
Okay. I was doing an impact scene with my dom one night. It was pretty crowded, but we managed to find a spot in the corner that we thought would give us enough room. The scene started and we were having a great time. Near us was a really intense scene that was drawing a crowd. As the crowd got bigger, some people started to encroach into our scene space. One woman in particular got so close that she bumped into my dom as he was mid-swing with the flogger. Because of that bump, he ended up hitting me more to the side, which caused a lot of wraparound, which really hurt. After checking in with me, he turned to the woman and told her that she needed to be more careful. She started lecturing him on being more aware of his space before swinging and acted like it was his fault. I was already pissed because that wraparound hurt, so I turned toward her and started yelling at her that she was the one at fault and she needed to be space aware. She and I got into a bit of a screaming match until my dom gave me that look. We talked about it later and he said that I shouldn't have said anything to the woman, that he should have been more aware. I think that I'm right and she was the issue because he was there first. So who is right? Am I the asshole for thinking it was her fault? See?
Well, here's what I'm going to say about that. The woman crowding the space, and this is my opinion. This is my thoughts on this. She should not have been crowding the scene.
No, she should have been
Absolutely
fucking
not.
aware for sure.
What the dom told her was well within his rights.
Absolutely.
Don't know if this was a private party, a dungeon.
Yeah, was there a dungeon monitor
was
available?
there a dungeon monitor available? And dungeon monitor, you know, I am a little surprised if this was at a dungeon. If they were to see people crowding, you know, they kind of should have been
Right. If there was a monitor or somebody like that
right.
assigned to watch that, there should have been a step in
You
from
know,
that.
of the number of dungeons that I've been to, there are, you know, certain lines you don't cross. There are areas that you sit and you can observe scenes, but you do not go beyond that to get a better look.
Right.
You know,
Oh, God, yeah.
This is the, you know, this is the play space. You leave them alone. You stay clear. And, you know, this is where you can sit and watch to your heart's content, but, you know, don't cross that line. Now, as far as the person...
The sub turning around starting to get into a
Yes.
confrontation? It could never be me, y'all. It could never be me.
I do not blame that person for being upset.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
Having a flogger miss and wrap around, not pleasant. Not pleasant. Not feel good. Should she have lost her shit? Probably not.
Yeah, it certainly didn't help anything.
Did not help the situation. Did it resolve anything? No. Excuse me. You know, again, that's what dungeon monitors are for. You know, that's why it's important to have them.
Right.
You know, they're there to help.
There's got to be somebody who, at the minimum, and this would be too minimum for me, I would need more. There's got to be somebody that you can at least go to when there's an issue. But ideally, there's one or more people, depending on the size of the space and the amount of people, who are just watching, who are just kind of trying to observe, and if they see an issue or if they go, wait, that's really crowded, like they can help. Pardon the expression, they can help monitor the fucking shit, you know? So, yeah, that my first question is, where the fuck was the dungeon monitor or the host or somebody, a responsible party?
Right. I mean, you know, between Phoenix Club, between Woodshed, you know, you have more than enough room for your scenes. One, to where you can fling a flogger, you know, swing a whip, whatever you want to do. And the other PlayStations are set apart from you enough that you would not interfere
Right.
with anybody else.
And I imagine to the extent that they're capable, most other spaces would be
Right.
very similar.
Nobody is allowed to socialize within those play spaces.
No, sometimes they're even like taped out on the floor, so you like
Right.
know what your line is. You can't cross
Exactly.
it.
They're
Yeah.
they're taped off on the floor. There are specific socializing areas where you can sit and watch these scenes without being anywhere near
Right.
any of this to interrupt.
Yeah, I find that, like the part where they're like, okay, there was this one scene that was so intense, people were crowding around.
Yeah.
Where was somebody to diffuse that? Because if you're crowding around a specific scene, how much space are you impeding for other people to play? Like, I'm very curious about that.
Yeah.
A couple people in the live chat have mentioned that everybody is kind of the problem here. Because, yes, the woman shouldn't have encroached on the space. She should have been more aware.
Right.
Because this was a party or a dungeon or something where clearly other people were playing.
Mm-hmm.
The Dom probably should have been a little bit more aware. You kind of got to be checking that. I do understand getting into that flow state and getting into the
Right.
zone and being so focused on your partner that maybe you might
Right.
not have
and,
that
and
awareness.
when we played at the dungeon, that, I do get there.
Yeah.
The people watching other scenes, it fades away.
Right.
I get in that Dom space, that focused space, and all there is you and
quite
I.
frankly, that's all there should be, because if other people are doing what they're supposed to be doing, like by not getting into your space, it's a take your life in your own hands.
Mm-hmm.
If you walk through a space while somebody is flinging something,
Right.
that's on you, not on the person flinging, because you don't know what their level of focus is at the time.
To me, from what I have experienced over the years, at parties, at dungeons, the only people that should be coming up and interrupting a scene are the dungeon monitors, if they
Or a host or
or
somebody.
a host,
The responsible parties.
the responsible people, if they think there is a problem.
Right. But other than
Okay?
that, it's
other
stay
than
out
that,
of the space.
spectators should not be,
Right.
should he have been aware of his space as far as he's throwing? I'm a little iffy on that. I am.
Just
I'm
because
sorry.
you know how your focus can
just
get.
just
yeah.
because I know how your focus can get when you're playing like that. People should not be.
That's here's the thing. I will take that side, because when I know how your focus gets and I'm your
Yeah.
priority in that scene, other people need to take care of their fucking selves and not get in
Right.
the space. If the space is clearly defined and you are within it, and even your swing is within it,
Right.
then it's on anybody else who is dumb enough to get in the fucking way. Like, if they're not being aware, that is no longer your problem, that is their problem, and they fucked around and they found out.
Yeah.
Now, where I disagree with how things ended up happening was when the sub or bottom ended up then getting into a screaming match. Like,
Yeah.
I think that was not productive.
No.
I think that I'm curious about the dynamic between the two partners, because while you'll back me if I get angry and I decided this is a moment to express my anger, there are situations, and being in the dungeon in a scene, I can absolutely imagine you'd be like, excuse me, baby girl, what the fuck are you doing? I'm here to handle this. Like, that's how we roll in kink spaces. You lead, I follow. If there's a problem, you're going to handle it. It would, because of our dynamic, and everybody's dynamic is unique, because of our dynamic, I'm not. It doesn't matter how mad I am. I'll tell you how mad I am. I'll be looking for somebody in charge to go handle shit, but I'm not going to confront that person, because for us and our dynamic, that's what you're for.
I mean,
that's what you do.
Screaming and yelling, not going to solve anything. Again, that's where I say DM. That's what I'm used to from the dungeons. They need to be alerted, or the host, somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. But screaming and yelling does not solve anything.
Doesn't solve anything. Now we're creating a different kind of scene, and nothing's actually being solved. It might feel good in the moment to be all, angry and righteous in your indignation, and I can absolutely see the urge, and the emotions are certainly valid, but I'm not sure, from my very non-confrontational and anxiety-riddled mind, how it's productive to turn around and start screaming at one another.
As far as the woman invading their space, I do not think the Dom was in the wrong. If it was us, where I think he went wrong, letting the screaming
Oh yeah, you would
escalate.
I wouldn't have, but I feel like in our dynamic, you'd have shut that down in a look. I'd have been like, oh, sorry.
If you started doing something like that, I'd have turned around. You need to zip it. Let me handle this.
So yeah, the initial woman was definitely the asshole. Do I label the sub who started yelling as an asshole? I would say I don't advise that. I'm not a fan of that, but I would not classify that as asshole behavior because I feel like whatever the outcome after the yelling ended up being between the dom and the sub.
Yeah.
And I know how our dynamic is, and I know how that would have played out. But yeah, I think that's where the sub overstepped by then getting into a yelling match with the offending person. I agree with some of the comments I've seen where it's like, go find the person in charge and like have that person removed, or have like the whole area, like, this is too many fucking people in your crowding out play spaces. Please do something about this. Somebody is going to get hurt. And it's going to be the bottom or sub, or it's going to be a bystander. But my sympathy is going to lie with the bottom or sub, not the bystander who was not being aware of where they were and got into the space, as long as the dom was staying in the space. Because if you do your part, I think Andre said it in live chat as well, if you do your part and you make sure you're in the space and your swing is in the space and you are contained, you've done your job.
You've done your job.
And you cannot be responsible for people who are not paying fucking attention.
Right. I mean, it is different. I have heard of, never seen one, but I have heard of areas where they have play parties and they do like demonstration play, where it's almost like they're on a stage and then there's people sitting down as an audience. In that case, I from what I gather, I've never witnessed something like that, but my understanding is it's more of like, then the audience is closer, but yet they're still separate enough.
There can't be interference.
There's no interference.
Right.
Correct.
Right. So yeah, the original person, asshole. Sub who got hurt and was like pissed, not the asshole, but I wouldn't recommend
out of line a little bit.
Yeah. Let the dom handle that. That's what they're there for.
Yep.
I mean, that's how I look at it. That's what my dom is there for. I knew the moment I saw that post, it was like one of the very first or the first post in the BDSM Am I the Asshole subreddit. I was like, oh, that's going into an episode. That is good. So if you are hearing our voice or seeing our faces or whatever, and you are a person who sometimes frequents Reddit and you've got some situations, please go post in that subreddit, because absolutely it could end up in one of our episodes. I like these conversations where it's like, here's what happened. What do you think? Because you're always going to get a biased view because the person is telling it from their perspective.
Sure.
I mean, obviously. But to me, it's just a little bit different than, I have this question about like this shitty partner where the question is, am I wrong or is this a red flag? But it's different somehow. I like the am I the asshole ones.
And that's why I read, something like this. And that's why I said, certain things, because I was told something many years ago. And, in listening to things like this, or, hearing people having, talking about a dispute, there's 3 parts to a story.
Yes.
Yep.
You keep going. I got it.
Yours, theirs, and the truth.
Go on, man. Don't lose your shit out here.
Yeah, right. I'll
be brought back in.
Keep a listen for her. Lately, she's just been wanting to sun herself.
Yeah, and in most situations, in like your everyday kind of situation, that I think that's very accurate, because there's my perspective and your perspective, and then sometimes from your individual perspective, there are all kinds of things you just can't see or know that might add context. And yeah, these kinds of stories I like. So I'm encouraging everybody to use Rara's subreddit and post there, please.
Yep.
So you can be fodder for an episode in the future. hey, if that subreddit becomes as active as BDSM advice and some of the others, that to me is a separate type of episode. It's a BDSM am I the asshole episode. I would do a whole episode on those. Absolutely. So, but that's it. We went through these like way faster than I thought we would. For having a foggy, addled brain, I find that fascinating that we did that. So yeah, I guess we're done with that part. We are going to do a bonus section because when you're gone for 2 weeks, of course, we got shit to tell you.
Yep.
But if you're like, I don't care about that part, then feel free to nope out. So yeah, that's it for us for this week. I don't know what next week's topic is. I'm not thinking that far ahead.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can do a bonus section now if you would like.
So are we good?
That's not for me to say.
Okay.
Keep it kinky, y'all. And we'll see you next week. Dottie.
Yes, baby girl.
Can I talk to the crickets, please?
You can. And I just wanted to say thank you. I was wondering if you were going to interrupt me before I got these numbers marked down. And you didn't. And I'm thank you. Good girl.
Yeah. I'm so, like, my eyes are bleary. Like, if they shut right now, I wouldn't fall asleep because I'm not like that, but I absolutely would not be in this space mentally with anybody here. I would be gone. So, it was less of me trying to be a good girl and more of me going, what am I supposed to do next?
Well then.
Sorry.
I'll take it either way. I'll take it.
Like, soak up this slow moving version of me. I understand why you might be tired because of what we did yesterday, which we'll talk about to the extent you want to talk about it. I don't understand why I am so fucking tired. I don't. So, now, could I psychoanalyze myself and come up with 3 to 4 potentially valid reasons? Yes. I don't want to. I'm too tired. We'll start with the furthest I'll go because it was why we took the break.
Yeah.
The oldest graduated.
Yes.
He is no longer in high school.
Nope.
In a couple of months, we've got to, like, just leave this baby who's never lived alone in an apartment. Who does that? Anyway, and the cat is up on the table.
Oh, what you're
trying to knock over my coffee. So if you're watching on YouTube, you get to see Onyx's butt. Graduation was good. Graduated 460 kids, I think was the total.
Yeah.
And they got it done in an hour and a half.
They did really,
they
really
were
well
efficient
with
as
that,
fuck. Nothing about the school experience yet has been efficient, but this was. I was like, I'll take it. Yes, I cried like a baby until I got bored. So we get there. It's in this big, like, outdoor arena kind of thing, but covered, and the weather was beautiful. It was like almost no humidity, crisp, sunny, but a breeze. It was gorgeous, perfect. You couldn't have asked for better. We get there early to find seats because there were hundreds of people showing up. And the band is playing, and my kid's in the band, and I'm watching them play from, like, a distance. They look like ants. We were so far up. And I started crying because I realized then that really was his very last band performance with his high school. So I started crying then. And then when they left the band to go line up, I started crying because I was like, they're saying goodbye to their bandmates. And then when they started walking in, even though I barely could pick him out of the crowd, I started crying. And then they started talking and doing speeches, and I was like, okay, I'm bored now. And then his last name is towards the beginning of the alphabet, so he was called very quickly. And I cried and got pictures of him. They had this big Jumbotron thing, so you could actually see shit and take a picture of the Jumbotron. And then once we were done with him, I was not crying anymore. I was bored. But we did recognize some of his friends' names. We're like, we know that person. We've met that person. But yeah, kid graduated. It's done. Now we're in the middle of summer break for both of them, and yay! So that went really well. I really didn't think I would cry as much as I did, but I've actually been crying for like a week to 2 weeks prior, because every time I thought about it, I was thinking about this is his last this is his last that, I would start to like well up every time. So I guess once it was officially done and he had got his diploma, or his pretend diploma, they had to go pick him up afterwards, and blah, 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 they did the picture. Once he was done, I was done. No more tears. Yeah. I'll cry when we drop him off at college. That's the next one.
That'll be the next
That'll be the next one. probably have a breakdown in the car over that. But yeah, so that was that.
Okay. Real quick before you switch gears.
Sure.
Love Not Hate asked a question. Would y'all be interested in a pair of 6-inch knitted crickets?
If we'll take the 2-foot purple dick, we will absolutely
Sir Richard.
take some crickets. That would be awesome. Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
You figure out maybe some way to make them our mascots.
yeah, maybe we'll put a little shelf here so they could live. I know. Actually, I promised I would never ask you to drill another hole into this wall. This wall behind us, for folks who are watching on YouTube, is an external wall. So
Concrete.
drilling into it is, whoo, it's a workout. Okay, so yeah, and the visit with my mom, that went really well. There was stuff afterwards that's now a blur.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm thinking about is what we went and did yesterday, but that's your stuff to talk about if you want to.
Yeah, yesterday was a very busy day, and we both were tired. I know for me it was as much a mental tired as a physical
Oh, sure.
tired.
Sure.
We drove the 2.5 hours south, and then eventually at some point 2.5 hours back home.
All in one day.
All in one day. But we went to my mom's house and met with my sister.
Let me interrupt because we do get new people. Just over a year ago, your mom died after you were her primary, really, caregiver when she was diagnosed with cancer and dementia. She passed in April or May? April of last year. We are now in June of this year, dealing with the house. Yes, there's been drama. We're not getting into all that. Go ahead.
And we my sister has been procrastinating, and finally she said we need to do something, and I kind of jumped on the occasion and immediately told her, well, I'm free these days, this day, pick a day, and we'll get together. And we did that yesterday, and we have started formulating a plan one step at a time.
It was me herding cats.
Well,
you were part of the butt rub for the YouTube video. That's what I was doing, was going, what's the plan? What are the dates for the plan? Let's have a plan.
And we did that, and we actually started going through her closets.
And lots of drawers.
Lots of drawers. Clothes that will be donated. Her and I very amicably, we went through and, do you want this? Or, I would like this. And, we labeled stuff.
Y'all were very easygoing with that. There was for all the tension that has existed over the past more than a year, when it comes to just the two of you deciding, I want this, I want that, do you want this, what do you want? For the most part, I haven't yet come across a thing where you even have to debate it with one another and negotiate. It's like, yeah, you take that, I'd like this, okay. And so far, knock on wood, that's been
it has been a very very pleasant experience. I talked with her again this morning because we had a few things to talk about, moving forward. And I asked her about the shed because, if the shed is still in decent enough shape, we would like it.
At his mom's house, there's this little, what's the shed made of?
It's like a Rubbermaid shed.
It's like a Rubbermaid shed. Okay.
One of the Rubbermaid sheds. And it would be perfect for all the lawn equipment, yard equipment, yard stuff. And, we have not really even dove into what's in there, and it's full.
Yeah.
There were a few things that were very evident to the front, and I asked her about that, and she was like, no, I don't know. She didn't want anything, and I was like, well, we will start going through it, and if I find anything that is questionable, it will be put to the side.
Yeah.
So, when everything first happened, there was a lot of back and forth. Even on my part, I was no angel in this.
Well, emotions were high
kind
and
of
strong
high
for
at the
both
time.
of you.
Yeah,
grief does shit. It does a number to you. So, and it affects everybody differently.
And we started the process of going through this. Some of the stuff that has been going on in the background, I'm not going to talk too much about it publicly. Did talk about it a little bit in
Discord. And a little bit on our behind the scenes.
Yeah, and behind the scenes. But publicly, I'm not going to go into too much of it. What has been going on and holding things up, but it's moving forward. We're moving forward, and just for the fact that she is in the mind to do this, I am not hesitating.
No, we're jumping right the fuck on it.
Okay, so what's the plan for this? What are we going to do with this?
And we're setting dates and scheduling
setting dates and time and talking with people. She has a very busy job. She is kept very busy. Her time off and days off are a premium for her. We are obviously always busy.
We're just more flexible.
Yeah, a little more flexible in that.
Mm-hmm.
But, we are going to meet with a couple of estate dealers, see about letting them handle some estate sales and stuff.
Yeah.
So we don't have to go into that. But, that's kind of where we're...
I know. If by the end of the summer... Because everybody's so busy, this will just be a slow process.
Yeah.
And it's funny, all the places y'all have called about helping with the estate and the furniture, and I mean, your mom was in her 80s, lived a very full life, and was absolutely part of the generation of, I bought it in 1950, it's staying with me until it crumbles into dust, right? So there are things of potential value, and then of course there's all the stuff of sentimental value, and then there's all the stuff of life. So this is a very long process. And every time you called an estate person yesterday to kind of see what they did and how it worked, everybody was sort of apologetic, like, we can't do it real fast. And you were like, okay, so when is your availability? Like, July. Remember, we're just in June. And everybody was like, that's actually good.
Yeah.
We need the time.
Right.
So my whole point to that is, if by the end of the summer we have the house cleared out and the stuff dealt with, and then can talk about listing the house or whatever, I will call that a win at this point.
Yeah.
Like, I think both of us would love for it to happen faster, but that's not realistic.
But you know what? No, it's not realistic. And again, I'm trying to keep in mind my sister's schedule. Between her work, she has 3-4 grandkids.
Yeah, and she's very involved as a grandmother.
She's very involved as a grandmother. So, trying to keep that in mind. And even us, we have a lot of stuff going on in our lives. Never a dull moment, so to speak. We do have plans. We do have plans already. We've set a date. We're going to need to rent a van or a truck.
Yeah, I've got to get that's on my list today.
To go down there and pick up the stuff that we're keeping.
And clean out some stuff.
And clean out some more stuff and get the clothes to Goodwill, Salvation Army, one of these places. Throw away stuff. Yeah, there's so much stuff. Oh my gosh. I was finding stuff that was just like...
And some of it was fascinating. Pictures.
Yeah.
I've got a picture of John Brownstone at the age of about 16, 17.
Yes.
Very handsome young man. I would love to know what the expression is, a cross between bemusement and why the fuck am I here?
Right.
And
well, I was at that age of,
I know, and it was the...
Why do I have a family?
The annual Christmas card that got sent out that was a picture of the kids. There is also... I don't think we'll ever show it because of privacy reasons, but I have to, and maybe I've mentioned it before, but I have to talk about this. Okay, so John Brownstone, not known to his mother as John Brownstone, was this woman's favorite. Okay.
Oh, God. You're going to talk about it, aren't you?
I'm going to talk about it. Somebody in the family or family friend, I don't understand.
It was my grandmother's sister.
Okay. Had a photo of little John Brownstone at the age of about 5 or 6. And from that photo, painted his portrait. Now, that's lovely. There were a lot of creative people in the family. Tons of, painted stuff. I saw some cross-stitch, all kinds of it. It was really cool.
crochet and
Right.
yeah,
Making lace and doilies and stuff, like
right.
very creative folks. Okay, but this picture, it's about 12 by 18, maybe a little bit bigger, maybe 18 by 24, almost poster size, but not quite. And it currently,
It's portrait. It's a
portrait size.
Portrait size painting. Yes.
It hangs in a central spot in his mom's house, so that when you walk through the front door and you get past the foyer a little bit, if you look up, it is literally all you can see.
As soon as you walk in the door.
As soon as you walk in the door. And to the side, in much smaller pictures, and not painted portraits, mind you, just like senior portrait taken from the photographer, are his sisters, like 8 by 10 size, flanking little baby John Brownstone. And I would never have said this to your mother, because you know that thing was near and dear to her damn heart. Little John Brownstone is gazing out on her home at all times. But I said yesterday, because I read the room and knew I could, I said, it makes me think of the Lion King, and the newborn king is being shown to all the land and presented. I said, look, and we were going through and tagging things. What was the sisters? What is JB's? Color coding it so it was easy. Nobody had to even think when we come back at different times. And JB and I had been like, I said, I know you're going to bring this picture home, because who else would take
Nobody
this damn
else
picture,
is
right?
going to, yeah.
And yeah, sure, I guess you could donate it, but I understand why you're not. I understand that. I said, but what? And then his sister was like, well, of course he's going to take this picture. Of course he is. And I was like, okay, I won't be too disparaging of the picture in front of her, because because what I didn't say was, sure, we'll take it. It is not hanging in my house.
It's a good thing the TV is hanging up over the fireplace on the mantle, because, you know, that'd be the spot for a picture like that.
And you have to understand, this picture, it is clearly of a photo where you sat and like you were wearing a blue like little sweater, and you have very blue eyes. I don't know what comes across on camera, and when you wear blue, your eyes just pop. But your eyes are not naturally as big as they were painted, not even 55, 57 years ago. And so it's this looming, very intense gaze, and I'm just like, those eyes will follow you. And I would be
interested, as we go through the stuff, hopefully to see if we come across the picture that portrait.
That would be very cool, because then I might have opinions about the artist's work, but it's a very intense portrait, and clearly it had a place of honor for your mother. And you and I, based on experience, and then of course I came into his life and had observations and let him know.
I will
he
say,
was the favorite, and she made that clear. And that picture is just.
I do not remember the age I was
it.
when that picture was taken, but it was preteen.
Yeah, you were young. You were definitely young in that picture.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was. We had a Lion King moment, and I would not show this like on YouTube, but man, I do want to just enter our house with the soundtrack playing and just let baby John Brownstone gaze upon his new domain before I put him in a closet.
Somebody said auction it off to the crickets. Oh my gosh. But you know, I've seen enough people talking about the other picture. I will have to probably take a photo of it and crop it, because there are others in there.
But yeah, I mean, definitely different.
Yeah.
But
you know what? I mean, I look back on a lot of my photos from when I was younger, and you know, a lot of the clothes I was made to wear at that time. Especially in the 70s, not something I would have
chosen
for myself. Yeah. In that picture, though, and a couple pictures came across. I did have, now the color aside, a suede jacket, and I loved that jacket. I held on to that jacket for many years.
I believe that about you.
Until it was dust, and it just would not.
What else you hold on to?
Until I just absolutely positively outgrew it.
So what I like about the picture of you at 16 or 17, first of all, you
me.
at 16 or 17 would definitely have caught me at 16 or 17's attention. But of course I can look at it now, distance of time, and the thing I noticed there is, for all that, like, half your family has curly hair like you do, like curly hair,
Yeah.
tight curls. I just always go, nobody took you by the hand and went, baby, here is how you're going to take care of these curls. Because you could have been nice and like, whoo, and I became a mom at that point. Went, I just want to, I don't know how to comb tight curls. I'm not saying I do, but I was like, I just want to fix you. No, we would not take a family portrait with your hair like that.
Yeah.
The look of amusement is my favorite.
I will say this, you know, Kayla is correct. My hair, especially when I was younger, was very curly.
I love the pictures of when you weren't living at home anymore and you had total control. You just let it grow. This is not hair that grows down or long. It grows out.
It grows out.
And you let it grow out. It was,
Yeah.
you were taking better care of it then.
You know, my hair, you know, you think of the 60s, 70s, you know, the very neatly combed hair with the distinctive part, either right or left side.
Yeah. You poor thing. Your parents tried to make you do that, didn't they?
Yes. Yeah, and it
not
just
even
was
right.
not possible
No,
with my
that's
hair.
not.
And
No.
I mean, you know,
Nothing
even
about it would have
even
done
now as
that.
it's short, you know, there's no way a part is going to go in this hair.
No.
But yeah, it was very insisted on at that time because that's
Yeah. And then, gee, a lot of things were insisted upon. And, gee, then they were surprised. And at 18, you went, see ya.
bye.
Gotta go.
Yeah. So I mean, it was it was an interesting time yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, going through all the drawers and you know.
Yeah. Yeah, there were times when it was, me and his sister went through some drawers that were clothing that could not be donated, like things like underwear and used pantyhose and just things you wouldn't donate. So we were dealing with those, and that was like real quick. We were doing drawer after drawer after drawer, and then you had the drawer you happened to open. It just happened that way. It was like little bits of paper and little like things that your mom clearly had kept for a reason. Partly, but not always, that thing that a lot of older people tend to do is I might need this,
Right.
even if it's a random piece of paper. And so you had to go through each thing, and then you found a thing that slowed everything down in, you know, jewelry boxes. You know, they sometimes have that little like velveteen suede thing that you pop out, where normally the jewelry sits on top of, but it's in the box.
And I just had an inclination to pop the thing out,
And saw stuff being hidden in there.
and she had hidden something in there.
So that means not a single box that appears empty can be discarded until
Right.
you're sure it's empty.
It's truly
It's
empty.
like, oh, this will be a process.
Yeah, so that drawer took a little bit of time to go through.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it
you
was.
know.
It's going to be a process. We have been invested in this. We would have done this last summer, but it's happening now. So far, it's very amicable.
Yeah.
Y'all are basically on the same page. I think the debates are going to come up into the finer details of, you know, to do this or that.
Right.
Thankfully, so far, it's not a question of are we doing this at all.
Yeah. Well, you know,
so,
when my sister called and, you know, said that she was ready to do something, which is funny because when I saw her name come up on the caller ID, I almost didn't take the call that night.
I know.
You know, she was jumping way ahead about things, and I was like, look, we need to take this one step at a time. Before we even get to that point and worry about this, we need to figure out what we're going to divide up, what's going to be tossed, what's going to be sold, what we're going to keep.
Yeah, and it's the lifetime of, you know, one person in not a large space, but definitely we hold on to everything because it might have use sort of situation. So it'll be it'll be a process, and I think we're both just sort of glad that we're in the process now.
Yeah.
Because we had been at a standstill for over a year. So yeah, I think Judy might have mentioned it, the fact that I was sort of part of it, even though it was not me, can be tiring. Yes, also there are just other things that are always going on that are contributing, but I do want
Oh dear.
to point out we're going down the road. So we're going and we don't know what to expect. You know, there's still sort of that, is this for real, or are we about to have the rug pulled out from under us and they're going to go, never mind, change my mind kind of thing, right? And in JB's family, they think they're just talking when they're really yelling. So when they really are yelling, it's pretty big and bad. And and I mean this in the way that psychologically the word is used, that is a trigger for me. And also I don't understand that. Why are we all yelling at one another?
Italian family.
Italian family. But there's also the contention about how long this has taken and what needs to happen. And so tempers can be short. And we're driving down the road and JB looks over at me and goes, okay, baby girl, I'm going to need you to keep me in check. And I was like, can I have that in writing? I said, and so then I'm trying to make sure I've covered my bases. I'm like, okay, so when I see you getting heated and that's not going to be productive, I can kind of go, okay, maybe let's take a deep breath, right? Yes. Okay, so if you have an outsized reaction and my interpretation of what your sister is saying does not warrant that kind of reaction, I can step in and go, okay, maybe. And he goes, yes. I said, and also, if I have to keep you in check, when we get back to this car at the end of the day, I'm not going to be getting yelled at for having kept you in check, correct?
Correct. Correct.
Like, I'll do it. I'll do it with glee and with bells on and love every fucking minute of it, but I'm not getting snapped at later because I did what I was asked to do. You know what's funny? I didn't need to.
You didn't.
What I needed to do for both of them, and I understand why they, were in there, memories were coming back. You would find something that was a bit of a squirrel kind of thing, and then you'd have to look what I did, and I think what your niece kind of did on her end, we were like, okay, can we make a plan?
Yeah.
Okay, what are next steps? Okay, what date do you want to do this? Okay, let's schedule it. And then we had these tags to color code. Mm-hmm. This is what I want. This is what they want.
Post-it tags.
Right. And so we're both trying to get these two to just start walking around the house and let us know.
It took. I will be the first to admit it took us a little bit to even pick a color.
Yes, of what the tag would be. It's like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
But there is forward movement at this time. I am very, very grateful. I really would have liked to have this done sooner than later. It was yesterday morning driving down there was kind of tough on me emotionally.
Sure.
Now or then it would either way it would have been.
It was going to be hard no matter when it was.
Yeah, I just, wanted to put it to rest a lot sooner.
Sure. I know, I kind of I would understand if you were a little bitter about the fact that we're over a year later. I think that would be valid to be a little resentful, certainly, angry about it. But and maybe those feelings are there and we just haven't talked about them or worked through them or they haven't bubbled up yet. But I admire the sort of pragmatism and I could rub this in my baby sister's face, but that's not what we're doing. We're trying to move forward and you could be we could have done this a year ago, and that's not your demeanor at all.
No.
It's more of a, okay, we're here now. Let's just do the fucking thing. In other spaces with other people at other times, I think if you need to have that sort of emotional release and cleanse of getting that out of your system, I would understand it completely.
So maybe all that therapy I'm doing is helping.
I'm sure it is. So yeah, that's what's the new focus on top of. So we always have things to focus on. So kid going to college. House being an estate being finalized and dealt with finally, on top of in the end of June we'll be in South Florida for a vendor thing, a kinky vendor thing. I've got to remember to talk about that more often. June 25th, it's a Sunday. All I know is Fort Lauderdale. Well, I mean, we know the address, but
Yeah.
you don't get the address until like you confirm
Yeah,
your RSVP or whatever.
The event is posted on FetLife.
Right.
You have to RSVP to the event, and then you get the location.
Yeah. So, and there'll be, I think they might have even expanded it beyond 12 vendors, if I saw the last update correctly. I'm not sure, but it's called Beg, Barter, or Buy. So some people will have things that they're willing to trade, or they just want somebody to take off their hands, and then there will be those like us who are like, no, we got shit to sell.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing we're working on in the month of June. We got to like
build up inventory.
Yeah.
Again. Yeah.
So and all that spare time we got, we're gonna be making shit for the Kinkery, thekinkery.com.
Yep.
And
it's funny. Can tell we spent enough time here in North Central Florida at this point, because going back to Tampa Bay yesterday, we
just went to the sun. That's
we
what we did.
we roasted. Yeah.
Oh my God, we forgot to crack our window. We couldn't park in the shade because there's no
No
shade
shade
at the
there.
house.
There's no trees in this.
Didn't crack the window. Didn't put up the
window shade.
Yeah, none of that.
None of that. And the car was like a
boiling
freaking
hot.
oven.
We also did not stop for lunch. I think everybody was afraid if we stopped, we wouldn't get started again.
Yeah.
So it was like 2:30. We ate breakfast at 6 something in the morning, y'all. It
Before
was
we left,
2:30 before we ate. I could have gnawed on my own arm at that point.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah. There's a lot going on, as there always is.
Right.
To the extent that we can, we'll tell you about it.
Yep.
Do we want to try and do the cat that's not really our cat quick update as well?
I'll let you.
You might have, because the thing I was going to say is JB made a new bestie in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
They were on the phone this morning together at 7:45. I finally just walked away and went, I have to go take a shower. I got other things I got to do today. So if you have heard in previous bonus sections, there's been an orange cat that I adore with my whole heart that we call Cheddar, but has been claimed, and I'm still using air quotes, but I guess I have to stop now, by a neighbor 2 doors down. They incorrectly call this cat Marshmallow. Her name is Cheddar. Anyway, they claimed her popped a flea collar on her, but we still somehow feed her almost every fucking day, twice a day.
Yeah.
And in the past couple of days, she got into some sort of fight with another cat.
Yeah.
Definitely got a little bit injured. Was started to move slow, but even prior to that, had started losing a lot of weight. Like, we had watched her, she had never gotten big, but we had watched her kind of fill out a little bit.
Fill out a little bit and look
then,
healthier, yeah.
Like, on a dime, she was just losing weight. And we didn't know if it was partly because other cats would push her away when we would feed her and they would take her food, or if something was going on.
Yeah.
So, in the past couple days, she's been, especially after the fight, real lethargic, wouldn't eat, was just not herself. And we're like, what do we do? Because technically, we've all been told, by the neighbor 2 doors down that this is her cat. And it's like, well, do we just scoop this cat up and like get it to a vet? What do we do? And we have been talking to our across the street neighbor, who is now JB's bestie, about it, because we're invested in Cheddar and then a couple other neighborhood cats, and we're like aware of them, and we know more of what happens on our side of the street, and she knows more of what happens on her side of the street, but she knows the neighbor better 2 doors down. And so we had made a plan last night between the 3 of us, bestie, JB, and myself, that the bestie had a friend who had a vet and would not charge like full price if she brought in a stray. And she said, I will take this cat myself. I'll get her in, see, what's going on. And, if she needs to be euthanized. And I was like, oh, I was trying to think about it. So I think that's another reason why I'm exhausted, because JB said something earlier and I was like, yeah, I think that's probably right. I'm hoping it's not that. I'm hoping it's something that can be done. But nobody wanted to do it without talking to the neighbor 2 doors down, who is claiming this cat as her own. And apparently this really is her cat, who is supposed to be an indoor cat, but never stays indoors. So bestie neighbor was like, look, your cat is hurt and sick and something is wrong. If you will not take this cat to the vet, I will do something about it. And so neighbor 2 doors down said this morning, hence the 7:45 phone call with new bestie, that they were going to take the cat to the vet today. So my fear is that Cheddar, who is incorrectly named Marshmallow, is very sick, and what will happen, and will they get Cheddar the right treatment
care.
and will they do what I would do, and probably not, and we don't know what's happening with her because we haven't seen her all day. I got her to eat last night when she wouldn't eat for anybody else.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, is that really your cat if she won't stay in your house and doesn't want to eat dinner with you? I'm just saying.
I know.
But also,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
We don't know. We don't
don't know.
My hope is that whatever ails her is fixable, treatable, that the supposed owners of the incorrectly named cheddar are able to do that for her and get her back on her feet. And if she becomes an indoor cat where she can be a little bit safer, okay, fine.
Right.
Okay, fine.
Then
I just want to know she's taking care of.
I'm happy for her.
I
if
don't
that's
like the
case.
alternative of
No.
too far gone or somebody's not willing to. I don't like
Yeah.
that alternative. But
Yeah.
we have not been in a position at all to do it ourselves. And then when
No.
somebody claimed her, we were like, what do we do? Like,
Yeah.
It's kind of this weird, like, but she'd gotten so bad that, neighbor and new bestie were like, or JB and new bestie were like, let's do this thing. And I was like, okay, I'm supportive.
Yeah. So that's where we're at.
Never a dull moment. That's
Nope.
not true. Sometimes it's a dull moment.
Yeah.
Just not right now. I think we can be done.
I think so.
I knew we would go long.
Yeah,
I just thought it
well,
would be
we
on
always-
the actual topic.
We
and
always do after a break. We were kind of like bam, bam, bam with those things. Like, nope, dip.
this is easy. These are
Yeah.
easy. Wrong.
Yep,
right.
yep, yep.
Yes. No. And then
Mm-hmm.
So and my day's not done. Your day's not done.
No.
I'm not. I'm still just as foggy as I was when we started.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've been mostly coherent. Hopefully so.
Mm. And you know what? I'm not gonna lie. Some of the convo here in the bonus section gave me some thoughts about some things.
You got thoughts about things?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know, amazing, isn't it?
Oh goodness, we got an eyebrow waggle. So he's serious. Okay, we're gonna go.
Anywho, yeah.
At the very least, I need lunch,
Yeah.
and then start on the other things that need to be done. Okay.
All right.
Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for joining us, being
especially
here.
to the bitter end.
Yep.
We love y'all.
Mhm.
We're glad to be back.
Absolutely.
We'll talk to y'all later.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Bye.